when we talk about crisis, crisis and life in a sense goes side by side. As in, ki when we first time when we come out from our mother womb, so we are there jolly well, 9 months, everything is being taken care of. We are floating there, and the first time when we come out, the grasping of air, and when we cry, and that grasping of air is also a crisis. But that crisis gives us life, and thus life moves on. So that is my proposition here. And there is a saying that that which doesn't destroy me makes me stronger. So let's see whether it is true or not. In the KGP, in a common, there is a lingo called load, BT, and all those things, stress. So we use very casually this kind of word. But every word has a certain connotation attached to it, and that's how we feel it, and that's how we react to it. So when we say, ki, okay, I am in a stress or I am in a distress, so what does it mean? It means sometimes stress is useful. As you see from this graph, when we see this graph, we will see an inverted shape U curve, and we will see at the peak, it is written optimal arousal is optimal performance. And when we see at the other part, at the lower part, so when we don't have any arousal, or we don't have any stress, we don't go and we don't perform. Because say when there is no challenge, so we don't feel motivated or energized to go and do things. So that in turns again affect our performance. If there is no stress, for exam, if there is no stress for placement, so I won't work hard for that. So little bit of stress or little bit of arousal is required for the optimal performance. But when we see when it goes to an extreme level, that brings an anxiety, that's bring a threat, that brings a danger. And whenever we are in a threat, when we are in a danger, so usually we have a three kind of response to it. Either we fight, or we flee away, or we freeze. When we don't know anything, then we freeze. So when we fight, those fighting, enhance our ability to deal with those threats, deal with those danger later on. So my focus is here for changes that is within. Changes generally, environmental constraint or environmental force also produce or also demands change for us, but mostly change comes within. So what necessitates change in crisis? So when we see in a crisis, what happened? Primarily, there is a discrepancy between what it is and what we want it to be. So it can be anywhere. Crisis can be anything. Right now I am at a 7-point CGPA and I want 9 point. So there is a gap between what it is and what we want to be. So that discrepancy, initiate crisis. And in order to restore that equilibrium, we force ourselves to restore that equilibrium, and in that thing, changes happen. And in terms of equilibrium, and in the sense equilibrium, our body also runs on that principle, and there is called a homeostasis principle. It's like that key. We get tired, then we sleep, so homeostasis is restored. We become hungry, then we eat, then this restoration happens, and this phasic process goes on and on. So this also necessitates change. What facilitates change? First is locus of control. Locus of control, in generally, we have in locus of control, there is a two theory. One is called external locus of control, other is called internal locus of control. Basically, it means when we think, okay, whatsoever is happening to me, good or bad, it is because of the outside external environment or external factor. So then what we do if anything bad happens, so as it is outside us, so we don't go to change it, or neither we try, because we can't change the external environment. But when we feel, okay, external environment is there, but there is something in me which I am doing, that is what that bad feeling is there. So if I think there is something in me which needs to be changed, then I am more capable or more thoughtful to change that, rather than when we think, okay, external environment is responsible for that. So then generally we goes into, okay, it is our fate, we have to accept it and we have to go through it. So first is locus of control, and then in locus of control there are, I mean, when we come to internal or external, there are some controllable variable, there are some uncontrollable variable. Say, for example, I mean, lots of students, when we talk here, they say, okay, sir, in KGP, in Kharagpur, there is no place to hang out, so we feel bored and all those things. So now, I mean, if your boredom is because of the external factor, and that too because of the Kharagpur being a small municipal town, so that can't be changed. So when we say that, when we associate to it, then we can't do anything. So I mean, apart from disappointment, we don't have anything to do. But when we think, when we see, okay, even though Kharagpur is a boring place, it is a small town, there is not much happening out there. Can we do something? Can we do in the campus? Can we connect more with the people so that I can make my life more happening? So that connecting with the people is my call, right? It is inside me. I can go and I can change it. So most importantly, first we have to define locus of control, whether it is the reason why I am having distress or why I am in the crisis. The reason is within me or outside me, and even within me, outside me, the reason is fixed or permanent. If the reason is permanent, then we don't try to change, because we know no matter what we do, it will not bring the changes. So it will it somehow we go into learned helplessness. So this, sometime we try, one time try, second time try, third time try, we don't get succeed. So then we think, no matter how much time I try, there will be no success coming to me, so there is no point of trying. So there we tends to succumb to that pressure and we don't do anything. That leads to other point is called self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the belief that what it is and what I want it, I can go to that extent. I can change that extent. If I have that belief, okay, yeah, if I will try, I will bridge this gap of what it is and what we want it to be, then obviously I will give it a try to it. If I think I can't, there is a saying, if you think you can, definitely you can. If you think you can't, absolutely you cannot. So if I think I can, so that will boost my confidence. At least I will give it a try. When we try, we get an incremental success. If we don't try, there is no success. If we try, okay, we get an incremental success. That in turn motivate us for further trying. Now, the other question is, does crisis provide impetus for growth? In my hypothesis is, yes, it does. How it does? First is acceptance and commitment to change. First, we accept what we talked about, locus of control. First, we accept, okay, there are certain things which needs to be changed. Once we accept that, once we acknowledge that, then we move forward for the commitment to change. Then we find the way to change. So first is acceptance. Then what happened? Recalibration. So I mean, this is a technology age. Every time things are upgrading. Once we were using Windows 7. I don't know what right now Windows 10 or Windows 11 is there. I mean, even the app needs upgradation. So if we want to change, I mean, in the sense that if have a older hardware, it will not support the newer software. So in order to support the newer software, we have to upgrade our hardware also. So in crisis, this recalibration, this upgradation happens. We change our value, we change our belief system. So these changes in value, this changes in belief system is a kind of recalibration. With this recalibration, as I said, we do upgradation. What does upgradation means? Upgradation doesn't mean, okay, that person is having, he's more smart than me, so I want to be that person. It's like a striving to be a better version of ourselves. So what I was 2 years, 3 years back, I am better than what I was 2-3 years back. What I was post-COVID, now I am better I mean, what I was pre-COVID, now I am better post-COVID. So with this upgradation and with this striving comes a meaning and purpose in life. There is a saying by Nietzsche. It's like that a person who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. So once we find that meaning and purpose in life, so I mean, once we have a why to live, then we can bear almost anyhow. With all those things comes the autonomy and environmental mastery. So when we try things, we fail, we learn. So through that learning, there is certain autonomy comes and environmental mastery comes. And just an anonymous proverb, just when the caterpillar thought the life was over, it becomes a butterfly. So that happens in the crisis. I mean, when we thought, okay, we can't surpass this crisis, it is taking toll on me. And when, say it's in, so when we think about that, little when we try, we move forward, and there is a time when there is a metamorphosis, there is a transformation from caterpillar to butterfly.
It's like it has become like that. So, but in a session that is being housed by the counseling center, we need, amidst all this bad news and depressing news, what we need is hope. And I think Mr. Jha has summed it up beautifully. That how crisis can always be a stepping stone. Not maybe not always, but how one can use the opportunity to make it as a stepping stone rather than a cracking point. And I have been in this associated with this institute for more than 10 years now. I have seen lots of students, and part of the time when I came first, the students that I met, they are now all, they have become faculty now. So, and the thing that Mr. Jha was saying, that when there are many people, many students complain that we get bored and there is not much to do. So the one thing that you can take home from here is loads of people before me have also gone through these phases. Maybe not a crisis like COVID-19, definitely not. But these boring phases, apart from COVID-19, also many phases, many people have gone, hundreds and thousands of people have gone through this, and they have come out beautifully. So I don't think if this ideation can be kept in mind, that yes, earlier also people have been able to done it, they're able to do it, so I'll also be able to do it. So that gives a positive motivation to do something like that. So there are lots of theories nowadays which we common people, which were us who are not accustomed to the theories of psychology, feel somewhat difficult to understand for us. Just like if I keep on telling medical jargon, it becomes difficult for common people to understand who are non-medical, from a non-medical background. So just to think that yes, people have been in crisis before also, maybe of a different nature. There were people who survived World War II. There was the world is still standing even after something as grotesque as that. So if that had happened, so today also we can overcome. Maybe we do not know how long it will take, but we have to just hold our fort. And with that, we can overcome this crisis also. But yes, in this case, sometimes what happens is, because human beings are a highly developed being in order of nature. So what has happened is, somewhat the discipline has become less with the increase in the logic. So we are highly logical beings. That has sometimes led to a dip in the discipline part. To maintain safety in this scenario, uh, we need loads and loads of discipline. That is, as I have said numerous times before, and I'll continue to say numerous times after, that just a simple thing like wearing a mask. When you go out on the road, you see that if 100 people are on the road, maybe 70 or 80 are wearing the mask properly and 20 are not. So because of the indiscipline of that 20, the entire community will continue to suffer. So for this suffering to end, all 100, not even one can be left out, all 100 have to conform to the norms. Nonconformity is beautiful. I know I have been a hostelate for a very long period of my life. I know it feels great to break rules. I have broken so many rules throughout my hostel life, but this is not the time to do it. You people always, you people have been staying in hostels for some period of time in your life. I know it feels nice, it feels fine, it makes for wonderful memories. But regarding the COVID norms, I would request everyone present, not only the students, also the any faculty, staff, whoever is there and their family members, please conform to the norms so that this crisis can end sooner than later. Thank you very much. I'd be happy.
Sessions as well. Thank you.
And we thank you, Aditri, for conducting this session so well, and to IWG and a student volunteer to bringing us and giving us platform wherein we can interact with people and doing so much thing for the students' welfare. As rightly said by Professor Dang, so it's beyond expectation. The sky is the limit. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.